I've told you about some of the things I've been working on this week with clients. Themes tend to run in themes around here.
What's the theme this week?
Well, pricing. I had 3 clients come in and got a new client, remain unnamed, but they've been around a long time. They said, but nowadays we're just not making any money. And so we started, talking about, they don't have good books at this point, but they have knowledge. So we started talking about things and this issue and that issue. And I said, well, all of those issues are because you're losing money. End of discussion. Well, we can't raise our prices. I said, really? I had a prospect who's not a client come in here one day and said, hell, I can go broke on the beach. Say, I can sit in a lawn chair on the beach with my toes in the water and go broke, and I'll go broke at 0, right? Or I can stay working my butt off for a year, lose $500,000 and go broke, and they take my house, which probably won't do, but you get the point. So you reach a point where you say, I've got to do something about this. And the first thing that we've talked with all 3 this week is that idea of a statement that says, I can't raise my prices. Well, that's your head trash. And I looked at a review on one of it was a favorable review, and it said, these guys were absolutely fantastic. I had one company come out and they wanted $30,000 and they wanted me to do all this stuff, do the job. And I found these guys and they did it for $1,200. Okay. What's the first thing that runs through your mind? I didn't take the $30,000 job. These guys did it for $1,200. Well, probably different scope. I mean, I'm going to guess, but I'm also going to say, if that's true, you could have been the low bidder at $29,000, right? I started thinking like that and said, well, you have to decide that if I'm going to go broke, I'm going to do it on the beach. I'm going to quit this. I'm going to go out there and sit on the beach and just go to 0, right? Run up credit card debt maybe. But if I'm going to stay in this, I'm going to make it work. And that requires the unfortunate thing about blank is blank, therefore I must blank. The unfortunate thing about the way I bid jobs is that I'm persistently losing money, therefore I must do, and there are really 2 things, raise my prices or lower my costs, or preferably you do both. And it's kind of been an eye-opener to them, but as just in brief conversations, it goes back to what's the source of somebody who's losing money, and it's almost always the same. It's their head trash. I can't charge this much. So, well, had a client in Virginia to send me a bid. We've been talking about how to bid, and I want to talk a few points about that too. But he does roof repairs slate roofs. He'll probably listen to this. I won't use his name, but he sent me, we talked about raising prices and making it where you are absolutely making money, and you make enough money that you still make money even if you mess up a little bit. And he sent me a quote, and he had sent, text. And he had sent the quote to the customer, and he sent a text that said, hey, I'm just following up on that bid. Any questions? The guy answers, he says, you're more than twice the other guy. And then my client's question to me was, should I respond to anything? And I said, there might be another coach out there with some kind of great answer, but my answer was no. Number one, you don't know that you really were twice. People say that kind of stuff all the time. And second, you don't ever want to be in a position of talking somebody into the bid. So where did he go wrong? And the answer to that's in 2 places. If you're going to charge more than the competition, you have to give people a reason other than price to buy from you. So we start looking at what is that. And it's the way we can do a whole episode on that, and I think we should. But it's, you take your insurance certificates, you take your testimonials, you spend time with them, you show them what you're going to do, you bring a positioning document that we've talked about before, you're polite, you look good, you demonstrate that at that point. If you go out there when the customer's not even at home, you look at the roof or look at the job, and you go home and you work up a bid and email it to them, they've got nothing except a number to look at, and you've lost your opportunity.
Yeah.
So the guy emails me back the next day. He got a job for $8,000, right? Which is a nice little job for him. Said, yeah, you can't. You have to give them a reason. And if you're just emailing in your bids or telling them on the text them, well, it'll be $24,000, and they've got nothing else to go on, they're going to choose low bid. They default to price every time. So that's one of those things.
Yeah.
And it's coming up all the time. So it's head trash, and it's the missed opportunity to distinguish yourself, to make yourself different. And it's the follow-up. So they're thinking, everybody's just the same. They email me the bid and they'll come do the work. Well, they're not the same. And if you don't know why you're not the same, then you're missing your opportunity to do it. You're a low price bidder. You're a low price company.